So he wasn't on there either, was he? Hello? Uh-huh. Okay, is it on the agenda tonight?
I was just on Facebook, now she's doing it all.
The lawn?
Because they're running trend with people finding out.
Yeah, Charles, I was trying to take payments in the utility office.
All over your
Just in my card.
we can compare sides.
Exactly.
Right.
No, you by far. You have all those little things now. Starbucks run, key guy,
Lowe's good.
Lowe's guy, nothing.
I feel like might as well start my own business. Tiles,
Yeah.
all this other stuff. I'm like, oh.
Streets here with potholes and stuff. Part of those and get them to work.
Sir, we have a policy about this. How many times on these deals we let them talk, it has to be about what's on that sheet. So, I mean, is there, I don't know if there's anything like Promptings are okay to do, but I mean, it's not right. That's what I said, maybe, I don't even know you, so, I can't impromptu for you.
But apparently, I'm not going to, but hey, this is my concern. It's not a problem. Well, hey, no, thank you. Okay, thank you. Hey, I love you folks, you know. This old Vietnam veteran loves you folks. Thank you. I'm gonna shut up and listen. That don't mean I'm gonna be happy, but I'm gonna listen. On the agenda.
No, at the moment, we're saying.
Let me just say, tonight, we've got 2 public hearings, and if any of you would like to speak on either one of those subjects, on Get Real Cable, or on, gosh, what's the other one?
It's right here. The Blackwell Industrial Authorities.
Yeah, the Blackwell Industrial Authority's application for an economic development grant for a building. Either of those things we are going to be hearing from the public on, and if you'd like to speak, please sign in with your name and address and which one that you would like to address the council for. And that paper is it with you, Tracy, or is it outside?
It's out on that table right now, but we'll go get it here in a minute.
Excuse me, we can't even hardly hear you.
Chuck. Chuck.
starts, I just want to point out that, we're not going to tolerate any disruptive conduct here tonight. We run an orderly meeting. I'm informed that there's one individual here, and because of their conduct in the past, we've had to install cameras pointing at City Hall, and we're just not going to have any disruptive conduct here today. If we do, then I'm going to direct the police chief to take appropriate action. So I'm sorry, but I'm kind of the quartermaster on those kind of issues about procedure, and we're going to keep a good decorum tonight to maintain business. So
Is that all you got, Ross?
yes.
Anybody else anything? All right, let's call to order the, objection? See, the council meeting. For the opening ceremonies and the prayer and the flag salute, Pastor Cody Bybee will be doing that for the First Baptist Church. Appreciate you coming.
Well, let's go to Lord in prayer. Father God, we thank you for just this place. I thank you for a good city that I've just moved to, and I know a lot of good people in here, and I haven't met everybody, and I thank you just for everyone that's serving in every public position here, God. I thank you for the police chief, and I thank you for the police, and I thank you for the firefighters, all public servants. Father, may we respect them, may we love them, may we show them our gratitude. May this country, we're living in tumultuous times and times where tempers and emotions are running high, God. May your peace come in and preside over this meeting, Father. And may everyone act in accordance with how a true patriot would act, and a true American would act with just controlled emotions, with following it orderly and peacefully. And God, again, may your peace reign. I also pray, God, that if any evil or hidden agenda is proposed ever by the city, by any person in power or anybody in the public, God, that you would expose that these meetings would be an open book to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Biden. Appreciate it. We got any special presentations or recognitions?
We do. Tonight is our Employee of the Month, and I would like to recognize one of our employees, Daryl Stillman. He has been part of our electric department, I won't say how many years, right, or how many, for a long time. And he's leading our line crew right now in the absence of our superintendent, who's on leave right now. And he's done a tremendous job leading these guys. And it was just time for us to recognize his leadership. And I know that he always says that he couldn't do it without all of you. And I know that's true because it's the same way with me. If I didn't have all of you, I couldn't do what we've accomplished. So I'd like to ask Daryl Stillman if he'll come up so I can present that award to him. One more thing I would like to add is that we have an exceptional electric department. They are phenomenal at working after hours, anticipating what our needs are for the community. They step up whenever I ask them, hey, we need a solution. Can you guys provide that? And they always do it. And I just want to commend all of the electric department. We miss Greg right now, but he'll be back soon. And I just want to say thank you to all of you because you're all leaders and your work is just exemplary. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next would be the consent agenda, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the governing body from 8/20, approval of requisition register items for payment, approval of payment to Crawford Associates in the amount of $13,199, and approval of payment to the Oklahoma Municipal Law in the amount of $8,225. Anybody have any problems with any of that?
So moved. Second.
Cox,
Aye.
Markler,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Webb.
Aye. All right, moving on to department head reports. Go.
Good evening. The fire department was called, 23 calls for service. And, those included 2 structure fires, 9 grass fires, 1 power line issue, 1 dumpster fire, 6 motor vehicle accidents, 1 false alarm, and 3 hazmat incidents. One of those hazmat incidents was a 14-hour incident. We had a pickup run off the road, hit a gas line regulator, which had a 6-inch line feeding it, a 2-inch line, and a 4-inch line and a 2-inch line. 3 lines feeding it from 3 different directions. And it took, they had to call in crews from Ada, as a independent construction company came in to help mitigate the issue, and then CenterPoint had two crews here, one from Blackwell and one from Cushing. It was a long night. I think they finally got it all mitigated at 5 in the morning, and the call came in at 2:30 in the afternoon. Had 2 blocks shut down for probably 8 hours, and then we kind of shrunk our. Once they got the 6-inch or the 4-inch line shut down, had 25 psi on it of pressure. Once they got that line shut in, then we shrank our hot zone because the leak wasn't near as bad. But it still took a while to dig up all the lines to shut all the lines in. The EMS department, we had 163 calls for service. We had 2 no patient found, 6 transfers we were not able to take because we didn't have ALS capabilities. We had 5 ALS transfers, 22 BLS transfers, 3 canceled en route, 67 transported patients, 54 refusals, and 4 event standbys. The event standbys are the softball games that are going on right now. The governor passed, I forget what the name of the I guess it's a law, but states that EMS has to stand by at all school events. That really includes band events, assemblies, but I've talked to the superintendent, and he just wants them at the games, so we don't have to go to all the non-contact sports. So for the total month, we had 186 calls, brings the year-end total for EMS to 1,028, the year-end total for fire service to 161, for a total calls for service of 1,189. This month, we also completed our annual hose testing. We got one of our paramedics quit us, went to work for a fire department out of Arkansas, and we hired his replacement. He started this month. Glad to have him. His name's Walker Taylor. And the most exciting news is one of our ambulances that we purchased came in yesterday, and it'll be here in a little while. And so everybody's more invite everybody to come out and look at it after the meeting and get a picture with it. Thank you.
Good evening. For the month of August, in patrol, we had 225 traffic stops, resulting in 49 citations, 184 warnings. We worked 8 traffic accidents. 5 of those were non-injury. Have made 29 arrests. 702 calls for service for the month. That brings our year-to-date total to 5,699. 375 E911 calls. brings the year-to-date total to 2,198. 2,184 other calls, brings that year-to-date total to 21,017. Animal control stayed busy, impounded 57 dogs, 28 cats. At the end of the month, we have 2 dogs and 7 cats at the shelter. They worked 4 animal bites. Animals that were transferred to nonprofit organizations was 32 dogs. And then animals that were adopted out, 3 dogs and 22 cats. They gave 7 verbal warnings and wrote 2 citations. I wanted to thank when it comes to that gas leak, I wanted to thank my guys too, because at the same time we had stuff going and we made calls, and a lot of those guys dropped what they had going at home and came in and helped out, and we had some stuff that needed immediate attention, and those guys got right on it. But I just appreciate those guys being available, because like Chief Hannabrink said, that was a long night. Chief Hannabrink and his guys did an awesome job. Darrell, electric guys, I mean, just really outstanding work by all those guys. But I wanted to thank the Association of Oklahoma Narcotics Enforcers. Most of our training for the year has been canceled, as you can imagine, and it's been put off till next year and whatnot. And the governor has given us no relief on getting our training hours and stuff, so they put on their conference virtually this year. And so from September 4th to the 7th, we were able to get a lot of training hours to a lot of our guys by watching webinars and sitting up in the training room and watching the conference at our location. So we didn't have travel. We had a little bit of time involved, but a lot of us caught up on a lot of our hours. And it's just because those guys work so hard to get that put out to pretty much the entire state. So kudos to those guys for really stepping up to the plate and helping us out. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Blaine.
Hello, we've completed 2 blocks on South Main for the conversion. I don't know if you guys noticed. I noticed that you were there the other day watching us work. We've set the poles there, moved the wire over. We're still needing to pull in 2 blocks of the neutral for the system. We set 2 capacitor banks on our system. OMPA will be here at a later date to commission them. Clay and Brian Brown have been the instigators of that. We've trenched and installed the pipe for the event center for the fiber. We've also trenched and installed the pipe for the new information sign on Main Street in front of the event center. And we've been working with Jim Hoos and his engineers on some water plant needs. We're getting our equipment serviced and in place to start tree trimming. Hopefully we'll start it in October. We're continuing to spray for mosquitoes, and the city guys did 104 work orders from City Hall this month. So, any questions? Okay.
Thanks, Darrell. Thanks, Darrell.
Good evening. For the month of August, the Street and Parks Department, we finished up completion of the intersection at 10th and Jefferson. You probably know by now, but we tore that whole intersection out, did a total reconstruction on it, poured it back concrete. Turned out really nice. Finished that up. We actually started working on the 1100 block of West Oklahoma yesterday. We're going to do a total rebuild on it. We also dug out and repaired 13 water cuts with either asphalt or concrete. We bladed and rocked 9 alleys. We replaced the culvert pipe at 11th and Oklahoma and poured some concrete drainage channels. That was in preparation to get started on that road there on Oklahoma Street. We also spent a couple days filling potholes, and my parks guys have been busy mowing and taking care of the trash in the parks and things of that nature. Also, I didn't put on my written report, but we did get the pool shut down and covered up for the year. We had another successful season. Our new filter system worked good. The splash pad is back up and going. I'd like to thank the electric department for coming out and wiring that stuff up for us and getting that taken care of. And so that's about the size of it. Questions? Thank you.
Nice shot.
Good evening. For the month of August, we sent out 268 letters. We did 50 verbals, that's where we speak with property owners, either in person or on the phone. We did 40 door hangers, 2 citations issued. We posted 24 properties, 12 of those went out to the contractor for that work to be completed by our contractor, Mr. Heinman. We posted 6 properties for dilapidation to be torn down. You'll be seeing those in the immediate future. A lot of those are burnout structures that we have here in town. So we're in the process of trying to get those torn down either by the property owner or by the city. We did 12 contractor license. We did 16 permits, that's electrical, building, and plumbing and mechanical. And we did 14 inspections under those 3 categories as well. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Good evening. First of all, I want to say I'm starting on my 4th year here, and I just think everybody here is wonderful, so, kudos to all the guys. For the month of August, 691 people used the library. Our total circulation was 845 items, and we loaned out 14 hotspots. 201 new titles were added to the shelves. We made 15 new library cards. 56 people used computers, and 249 individuals accessed our Wi-Fi for 2,823 sessions. We served 997 meals in August, and that was from the beginning until the day before school started on the 19th. Hopefully we'll be serving dinners here in a couple of weeks as soon as we get word on the Kids Cafe, and they'll be grab and go as well. We did get 5 more hotspots through the CARES Ag Digital Inclusion grant, and we should have those ready to go next week. And last, we were very honored to receive the Blackwell Spirit Award, the first ever Blackwell Spirit Award that the Chamber gave out for feeding our kids, and that's something that we're just really proud of. So, questions?
Thanks, Lisa.
Good afternoon. We had a normal, busy month. As written out, we had 69 locates, 77 work orders. They had to repair 2 sewer mains. That was always interesting. They jetted 7 sewers, replaced 5 meters, repaired 3 small leaks, and 2 water main breaks. The 12-inch, we're actually working on it again tomorrow. We had a little issue with it, but it'll be repaired first thing in the morning. And they installed some new services, 2-inch services, and replaced 2. And the crew worked late today. They just left the location at 5. They have finished 2 more blocks of Lincoln and 1 block of 11th Street with all new services, brand new water main, brand new services, everything. They were making the final connection this evening, so which is very good, very excited. They worked right through the heat. They wanted to get it done. I'm very proud of them. I also heard from Ed Ducat today. He's the guy that takes care of our TTHM issues. And August is usually the high month, and our TTHMs were really, really low. The highest one we had was a .06, which puts us well below the limit. He's done an extraordinary job keeping us there. So, that's all I have for now. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
You guys do a good job.
Okay, the city council will hear public comments now. Did we have anybody on the sheet?
I have none.
Mr. Mayor, we'd actually like to couple A with C.
Okay.
C is, you can go ahead and read that.
Discussion of Blackwell Industrial Authority's grant application to the Economic Development Administration for construction of a new industrial building in the Blackwell Industrial Park.
And we're really seeking 2 items on the agenda. One is the cable item, the second one is this item. Any comments from the public that the public may have regarding an application that the Blackwell Industrial Authority is filing with the Economic Development Administration for an ED grant. It would be a 80% grant, so that's grant, not loan. And we are applying for We do have John Robertson here, if he would like to make any further comments, or Janet.
Okay, well, I'm gonna defer to John because our industrial authority have worked on this grant, and all of the application process, so John knows it better than I do at this point.
We're kind of in the final stages of it, and one of the things was required by the grant was to let the public in on it. It had to be on the city agenda, and of course, answer any questions, and then we'll take the minutes after the meeting and include that in the grant application. This is going to be a 150 or 15,000 square foot facility. It will be north of the old Duke facility, if you remember where that is. It's a very similar building to what that spec building was. We've changed it a little bit, but just not a whole lot. Our hope is, just to kind of bring some of you up on that original building that we built. It was going to be a transload, and it was an EDA grant, about 2011, something like that. And we built the facility. We had it finished literally less than 30 days. We got a contract with Duke Renewables. They were asking for a 25-year lease, and that's kind of unheard of. I mean, I've been doing this for decades, and 10-year lease is a long game deal. So, kind of long story short, when we sent the application in, the feds, they are grant dollars with their strings attached to it. The attorney down in San Antonio goes, this is great, but we've got the useful life of that building is 20 years, so a lease can't be any longer than 20, and it really needs to be less. So we ended up with a 19-year, 11-month lease with 3 5-year extensions. Everybody was happy, and that's moving on. What we hope is we're going to stumble into the same type of thing. Of course, I've talked to Duke, I've talked to NextEra, we've talked with Enel, all wind industry folks, and that's what we hope to be able to land this thing. We've already spent close to $8,000 on engineering. Our 20% portion of this facility, a little over $440,000, we've already got through our sub-state NODA, which is out of Enid, been approved for that 20% loan on a 20-year loan with a 1.522% interest. They haven't set the interest rate, but it's going to be super low, and it's all because of these CARES funds and all of that kind of stuff. This is the ripple effects. When we found out there was potential to have an 80% grant, that's when we really got on this and jumped on it, and it's time to do it, you know, so, or we could get that kind of support. So the loan is all based on the contingency that we get the EDA grant. I've talked to the folks with EDA out of Texas. We've had 2 different conversations explaining what our idea is, explaining what we're trying to do, and explaining what our objective is. And looks like, again, just through conversation, we're going to check all the boxes. One of the real positive things about that particular area is it is called an opportunity zone. That's a federal designation, and that goes by census tract, and that particular census tract qualifies for an opportunity zone, which is driven kind of by historic low wages and all of that in that census tract. But that, as far as the application for EDA, that's one of the big boxes. We'll be checking on that, so that helps make the application even stronger. So we're excited about it. We think it's going to be a super deal. Again, had excellent conversations with all of these industries so far, just not a commitment. So right now we're going to climb out on the limb. We're going to build the building and move on. So, any questions?
And also any comments from the public, as well, to make sure that we can receive, you know, any comments, questions, input from the public on this project.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay, we'll go back to B, cable for extension or renewal of its right to operate a community antenna television system in the corporate city limits of Blackwell. One, to identify the cable-related community needs and interests. Two, to review the performance of the cable operator under the license during the current licensing term. Three, directing the city clerk to publish this resolution in newspaper of general circulation within the municipality, and I think we changed that to 2 times. And before the date, prior to date of hearing, and approving the circulation and publication of the cable television satisfaction survey as directed by city manager.
I think that we briefly discussed this at the last meeting when we went out with the notice, so I'm not going to go over that. I will tell you that we do have the Get Real representatives, Greg and Jessica, here to talk about their application, their desire to renew. One thing that we were going to do, I was going to present my handy-dandy 28-page PowerPoint, which is really excellent. You guys are really, I know, dying to see it. But we only received some of the responses. I guess they were sent, but we couldn't find them. And so we've got to, we found them and we extrapolated them, but we want to do a better job of presenting how they've done during the current licensing term and go through all that. We actually have it done, but it's not perfect, and I don't want to go through it until Janet has a chance to look at it. We can talk about it.
It's very lengthy.
It's very, it's 28 pages, so everybody's excited about it. We also have training tonight with OMAC. But what we do have is we do have this cable satisfaction survey, and I think we'll do it before we put you on because it actually is fairly positive. Then, of course, we need to hear from the public. That's the purpose of this hearing, if there's any public here to talk it up. But let's just start with this Get Real Cable Satisfaction Survey. We had like 50 or 49 persons do this. The first question was, how do you presently access or receive news, entertainment? DirecTV, Dish got about 30%. Get Real Cable has a real penetration in this market, a little shy of 60% of those folks that surveyed. But it's a fairly good survey number out of the community. So I think this was some help. Who's your current cable service provider? And as you can see there, Get Real Cable was more than 50% among the responses. If you've ever changed provider, when did you change? Most folks have never changed, which is really indicative of public service corporations. You know, if you're satisfied with what you're getting, most people don't change. The next question, if you change providers, who do you change from? Well, it looks like some have changed from Get Real Cable, but that's what we got back. If you've ever changed providers, who do you change to? And it looks like it's even between AT&T and Get Real, and DirecTV has less, and Dish seems to have more among the folks that participated. If you change providers, why? Well, most folks never changed. Many people changed because of price, some because of signal quality and the like. So that's some fairly good information. Now here's a real good slide. Have the services improved with Get Real? And we have 52% of the folks that were surveyed say yes. I mean, that may sound not good. It is good for people taking a survey. That's an excellent response, and it's good for Get Real Cable. Now look at this one. Do you have an unresolved issue with Get Real? Yes is 6.38%. No is 93.62%. You should have seen the one in Enid. These numbers would have been turned around. Okay. Yeah, different provider, of course, but you know, a multi-billion-dollar provider. Okay. How do you rate Get Real's overall service? You know, we have nearly 40% saying excellent. Get Real's overall value for price, fair and expensive, or expensive. Well, fair constituted 65%, which is a lot. Get real picture quality, the highest result was excellent. Get real customer service, the highest result was excellent. Between excellent and good, you've got 50, 60, more than 60% of the responses. Get real outage problems, rarely and sometimes, were the two highest answers. Get real number of channels, not enough, just right, got 68%. So those were the responses that we had to the folks that replied. It shows me, having done this in Ponca and Enid and Perry and now Blackwell and a number of other cities, that at least the folks that took the survey were relatively happy with their service. And now let's hear from Gabriel. I do want to point out, because I didn't get this, we didn't get it completely analyzed, it'll be at a future meeting where we'll come back and do that. In the meantime, we'll probably also informally work on the cable proposal, the application for renewal, and we might be able to bring both back to you at the same time.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
We're happy with that survey.
Yes.
We've made a lot of improvements over the past 2 years. We've invested hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think primarily our biggest challenge that we had facing us 2 years ago was the interference on all of our local channels. Being with 100 miles essentially from the transmitting towers, the signal quality is not very high. And then when we got interference from the wireless providers, it took us a while to recover from that. We did, with your help, install the system that allows us to bring in all the local channels by fiber optics from Oklahoma City. And since that's been installed, we've had zero problems. Todd's been with us now 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
When we were getting those problems, and once we got that fixed, most all of that has turned around. Over that period, Todd signed up at least 200 new customers. We've updated about, it's probably well over 200, but
It's quite a few.
We've done a lot of rebuilding to the head-end equipment. There's almost no old equipment in the entire facility now. Everything's been updated. Now over the past franchise period, we've of course never been late on any of our franchise fees or our pole rentals or electric payments or any of that. We went full-time digital 2 years ago, and Todd was here to help us with that transition, going to everybody's houses and reprogramming their TVs, teaching them how to do that. So, and prior to that, we had digital and analog both being simulcast out. So everybody had quite a few years to increase or buy a new TV set instead of being hard on them. So when we did go full-time digital, there were a few people who didn't want to get rid of their old analog TVs, but we helped with purchasing TVs for certain people to help them out if they needed it. So we've done quite a bit. So we've also doubled the pipe size and bandwidth. We just installed a new pipe yesterday. It just got installed, thank goodness. Took us a long time to get that with this COVID and all this other going on. We did get that done. It'll be activated probably tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to get it done tonight. We ran many miles of fiber optics. We've added many channels. I don't know, we're over 100 basic channels. I do know that. Trying to look over my notes here, touch on anything install a new AES system. It has been damaged again, unfortunately, which we're not happy with, because that thing was $5,000.
We have remote access into it through like its own web server, so we run an Ethernet into it, so I can get into it. It's just that the front panels all burn out for some reason, so we can't actually see what's going on in the outside of the unit. But we do have access to it. It's only frustrating because it's brand new and, so they send it back to the manufacturer. So I don't know when to work that out.
Is it here in town?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's in the
it's up
head.
there.
Okay, we had quite a few things that were struck by lightning not too long ago, so there must have been a lightning storm that came through, because we were affected too.
Yeah, we've had almost everything in the head end destroyed, so.
It was scrambled. It's ready to get a lot of that replaced.
So we're going back with all new equipment, some of the latest stuff. We've installed, all brand new fiber optic equipment, just in the last 10 days. That's being activated right now. We did start getting the fibers to every city facility. That is all done except for 3 places or 2.
It's 2, I believe it's 2.
So, Jessica will start splicing on those tomorrow. I got an eye injury, I can't see. I'm done. So, she's a good splicer though. I'm not sure what else. Todd?
Well, no, other than that, yeah, we have made a lot of changes over the last few years. I've been around, Greg and his company for quite a long time. A couple of years ago, I changed directions in my life and jumped in with him. And, we've just done in my opinion, a real good job of, getting this thing and, going with it and improving it. I think the citizens are with me on that, at least the ones that come to us for our service. And, we just will continue to try to do what we can, when we can, and when time allows. So, other than that, we appreciate everybody's business.
I guess if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. Provide you anything that hasn't already been provided
Or any questions from the public, because it's really now time to talk about any future related interests, any things you'd like to see from cable TV in Blackwell.
Well, we thank you all. Yes, sir.
I have the most important question.
What is that?
Todd, the
Steve?
most important question.
Lay it on me, buddy.
Will you carry the Missouri game in OU?
Well, yeah, I believe so. I'm sure it'll be on there somewhere, as long as it's not a pay-per-view.
It is pay-per-view.
Well, then the answer is no.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
I love small business, I'm all for you. If you do a good job, you keep doing it.
Okay, so you need to take action.
No, that's all.
No action on C, is that correct? Yeah. Consider approval of awarding bid to Ward's Air Conditioning in the amount of $4,945 to replace HVAC unit and compressor at Street Department Armory Building.
Chuck is here to talk about, the bid that we sent out with the specs.
Yeah, we sent out, I got a list of contractors that were licensed with the city to install heat and air, and I sent out several bid packets to all of them, and only received one back, and that was from Ward's Air Conditioning for $4,945. I think that was a pretty fair price, just from what I've experienced. So I would ask that you would approve that bid.
Now, is this a rooftop scenario?
The compressor sits out on the roof. The unit actually sits inside. the heat and air unit.
Sooner,
I sent one to them, they never responded.
I will say that we are having, I guess it's a problem. People have so much work right now, it's unbelievable. I've been on the phone with several contractors that we actually called and asked to do work for us, and they said that they can't take any more work right now, they're so busy. So it wasn't surprising to us that we only got one bid back for it, but again, we think that it's a fair price.
I do think it's a fair price,
I move we accept the bid.
Second it.
Cox,
Aye.
Markort,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Webb.
Aye. Consider approval to go out for bids for a riding lawnmower for the street department.
Yeah,
Just stay right there.
I'd like to go out for bid for another mower. My newest one that I have is 2017, has well over 1,000 hours on it already. Also, we have been sharing a mower with the fire department. They've been using one of ours to mow the old Red Cross building, so we've been transporting it back and forth. And so if I can get a new mower, then I will just donate one of my oldest to them so that they will have their own mower.
I'll make that motion to go out for bid.
Second.
Cox,
Aye.
Markort,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Webb.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Governing body training brought by the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group for its recognition program from Bill Tackett, Director of Risk Management, Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group.
Mr. Mayor, could we go to the other agendas and conclude with this if
Sure.
if you want to?
Is there any new business?
So we would recess this meeting.
Okay. Recessing, go. Let's start the Blackwell Municipal Authority meeting. Call to order. Consent agenda, approval for the minutes of the regular BMA meeting, minutes from 8/20/2020, and approval of requisition register items for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Cox,
Aye.
Markort,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Webb.
Aye. Any new business? Okay, we'll adjourn. And let's start the Blackwell Facility Authority. Call. Also consent agenda for it. Approval of the minutes of the special BFA meeting minutes from 8/20/2020.
So moved.
Second it.
Cox,
Aye.
Markort,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Webb.
Aye. No business? Okay, we'll adjourn that, and let's go back to the city council meeting, and we'll go, over the governing body training.
All right, Bill Tackett is here from OMAG, as is David Weatherford. And so, guys, we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Good to be here, good to see you folks. Appreciate the opportunity to be back in Blackwell. Got some goodies for you here. We have a genuine leather covered notebook, near cousin to leather. On top of that is the world's best pen. Now, you don't get the world's best anything very often. And I can tell you this is a highly sought after pen. So you guys are in good company tonight. Nice to see you. And so, looks like we got somebody absent, so you're either a winner or you can get that to them after a while. I am Bill Tackett. I'm Director of Risk Management Services for OMAG, and we're very pleased to be here. We were here a couple of years ago and did this training. And the reason we do this training is because OMAG is a Title 74 Interlocal Cooperative Act agency. We're your insurance company, but we're not an insurance company. We're not a private company. We're interlocal cooperative. Back in June of 1977, Choctaw Village couldn't get insurance in time to do their budget. They got tired of it, so they signed the interlocal, and off we go. And from those two towns, now we have 500 cities and towns that belong to OMAG. So we were created by cities and towns. We're governed by cities and towns. We have a 7-member board of trustees that are our members elect. They come from our membership. And so we're also owned, governed, and started by cities and towns. So we are who you are, and we appreciate what you do. Lots of us used to do what you guys do, and have a real affinity for the work that you all do. And so we do a lot of training. I heard someone giving a report earlier about being able to catch up on their hours. We have Lexapol for police. We also have Local Gov or Police One for online training. If you guys are using Lexapol, the daily training bulletins can account for up to 8 hours annually of that training. And so you guys, getting away and going to different places for training is challenging sometimes. We also do training, public works folks and other people, but we found that there wasn't a lot of training for what you guys and gals do. And so David Weatherford, who is our main presenter, started doing this training probably about 10 years ago or so. And so when we turned 40 years old, we kind of put some extra stuff in it and rolled it back out. So upon completion of the council training, the stability test you all will take tonight, I know Janet and Bryce have been working on a handbook for you all to review, and maybe a short video about insurance. Then you'll be able to cash that recognition check. So we don't just bring the training to you for letting us come, we also give you money. A private company wouldn't do that. My mom says it's kind of like tying a pork chop on your neck, get the dog to play with you, but if I have to pay money to get friends, that's what we'll do. You gotta go with what works. I'm not in cahoots with Janet and Bryce. Haven't talked to them about what we're gonna talk about tonight. We talk because I don't have to, because we tell the same story all over the state. It's like going to the Passion Play. You know how it's gonna end. We pretty much got it memorized at this point, and these are the things that I'm gonna talk about tonight. And we bring a lot of information to folks, and we do it because, Mayor, we don't know anything new. Everything I tell you tonight is either stolen or old. That's the honest truth. We don't know anything new. All the problems that cities and towns face in this state are the same, basically, which makes it easy because it means all the answers are the same as well. You just add some zeros if you're in a bigger town, and that's just the truth of it. So let's talk about y'all and what your job actually is. And we're not here to throw rocks or be mean at all. We're just here to have a little bit of a conversation with you good folks. And so hopefully we'll have some dialogue about that. You guys have 3 duties, 3 resources, and 3 jobs. And that's the sum total of what you're here to do. And that's what you're about. Okay? You have the duties of care, obedience, and loyalty. You have those because you guys are the board of directors of a municipal corporation. You guys don't have any different duties than the board of directors of Walmart has. You have the duties of care, obedience, and loyalty. So if I ask you what your job is, your duties are, your resources are, it's all right there on that one page. Now, we have a big old fat handout, and I've been handing this out all over the state. But you know, it occurs to me that maybe a lot of these handouts don't go very far. So I'm going to give you one page. I'm going to try to put some Velcro, mental Velcro in your mind. I'm going to try to make some of this stuff stick. And so y'all are the first time that I've skinned this down, and we'll see if it works for you. We'll torture other people with it as we go around this stuff. What's the duty of care? The duty of care means that when you come to the meeting, you're prepared to discuss and maybe vote on every agenda item. It means you've done your work before the meeting. Long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I used to do what this young lady does. And I used to be glad, Bryce, that those agenda packets, when they first got cracked open, didn't sound like a beer can when it first got cracked open. Because all around the horseshoe, you would hear psh, psh, psh. You have not exercised the duty of care if you haven't cracked that agenda book open until you get here. You gotta read that thing, you've gotta get with your manager, you've gotta ask your questions, you've gotta understand. And it doesn't mean that you vote the same way you vote, it means that y'all understand you're here and you're prepared and you're ready to discuss, and if you're ready to, and if it's an action item, then you're ready to vote. That's what the duty of care is. Obedience, what does that mean? Obedience means that you're gonna follow the resolutions and the ordinances that the previous city councils of Blackwell have passed until you amend them or do away with them. It means whatever the federales make us do, you'll do that. And it also means that whatever the state makes you do, you'll do that. So if you're not following the laws of the state and the municipal government and the federal government, you are not exercising the duty of obedience. It's kind of a big deal. It's important. It's one of your 3 duties. Y'all are fiduciaries. You're a board of directors of a municipal corporation. You have the duty of care, be prepared. You have the duty of obedience. You will show fidelity to the laws and the resolutions that you're under that control you until you can change the ones that you have control of. Loyalty, what does that mean? Well, you've had a lot of department heads come up here and give you a report tonight, and every one of them had a different hat. One hat said police, another hat said electricity, another hat said fire. Your hat says Blackwell. Doesn't say Sunday school teacher, it doesn't say my ward or my part of town or the new hospital or Facebook, God forbid, it says Blackwell. I got told back 100 years ago at Okie State that the definition of politics is who gets what when. Who gets what when. Y'all are in the politics business. Y'all in the politics business because y'all are in the business of allocating resources. You primarily do that when you approve a budget. And in that budget, you decide who gets what when. You decide what roads get repaired or upgraded, what sewer lines get extended and improved, who gets new electric service. Your budget has a big part of it for personnel that allows the manager to go out and recruit and retain talent. Y'all are in the politics business, not a dirty word. Who gets what when. You all are resource allocators. So you have to do what's in best interest of the organization as a whole. What's in the best organization of a whole might not be in the best interest of this neighborhood right now, or this department right now. Those are your 3 duties: care, obedience, and loyalty. You know, we're not talking about politics like back in the old days. You all have a manager because the progressives back in the late 1800s decided that patronage wasn't the way to go. They wanted a professionally run organization in government as much as possible. And so, you know, there may be a piece of road over here that carries a lot more traffic, needs a lot more attention than some road over here on this part of town. You only have so many dollars that you can send to fix roads, right? She can't decide that, Bryce can't decide that, you all decide that. Staff tells you, gives you options, but ultimately you all are ones that vote. You guys allocate resources, you decide who gets what when. The 2 missions of this town are the same 2 missions that the first town ever started had. First time people ever clumped up in a group, they did it for 2 reasons. Those are the same 2 reasons Blackwell exists. The first reason is to increase public safety. First time people clumped up, they're trying to fight off animals and other people and hoarders and who knows what. You guys clump up here and call this Blackwell, so you will have increased public safety. And that's better treated drinking water. That's properly treated wastewater. That's properly handled solid waste. That's police and fire. That's the first reason you exist. The second reason you exist is to increase commerce, facilitate commerce. You do that through roads and public amenities and the services that you provide. They can attract folks that want to live here, businesses that want to locate and grow here. So you decide who gets what when, with the idea that your mission is twofold: increase public safety and facilitate commerce. You have three resources: time, money, and people, and you think your most scarce resource is money, and it's not. Not even close. Not even close. Your most scarce resource is time. The only time that you all are a board of directors of this municipal corporation is when there is a properly constructed, posted agenda that meets the Open Meeting Act, and you have a quorum. As soon as the mayor gavels you closed, you're promoted back to citizen. And you're not a board of directors again until you have a properly posted, properly constructed agenda, and you have a quorum. I don't know how many times you meet. It's typical that folks meet between 12 and 16, 17 times a year. You might meet twice a month, I don't know. But it's not very much time. So to that end, we'll come to our first thing that might make folks wishy a little bit. But we've done this way over 150 times.
Close to 200.
And I'm telling you, we've been from Boise City to Idaville, and that turns into a hike. I'm not kidding you. So we've been all around the state, Mayor, and we've seen it done a bunch of different ways. So what is your manager's spending authority here?
It's
$5,000
on the city.
On
By
the city,
charter.
on the city side, but that's by chart.
By charter.
50,000 on BMA and the Blackwell Facilities Authority, which are fairly recent events.
Well, 5,000's on the skinny side as we go around the state, as Bryce can attest to, not attend to. So I'm gonna tell you, how you spend your time is a lot more important than how you spend your money, because you don't have very much time. And I want to tell you another thing: you can always delegate authority, you can never delegate responsibility. So it's important that you monitor results, right? But once again, I haven't looked at a lot of your agendas, but let me tell you what should be on every agenda. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but that's all right. What should be on every agenda is something about tomorrow. And you know what's mostly on agendas as we go around the state? Yesterday and today. Y'all are the only ones that are elected that can say by voting and by allocating resources what tomorrow's gonna look like in Blackwell. Lots of people have an opinion, lots of people do things, commerce and school and otherwise, that help take a community in a direction, but only you guys can put your hands up and vote about what tomorrow's gonna look like. You can't talk about what tomorrow's gonna look like, and you can't act what tomorrow's gonna look like if you only have yesterday and today on your agenda. And you know what takes up time on your agenda that robs you of talking about tomorrow? Administrative things do. If Janet has a $5,000 spending authority, then maybe you guys don't need to approve a bid for $4,945. Maybe y'all don't need to do that. Maybe that's administrative and not policy, and not imagining about tomorrow. You can do what you want. I'm gonna get in my car and go home, but I'm suggesting that every agenda should have something about tomorrow on it. And if you're gonna pick out lawnmowers and approve things that are under her spending authority, then you're doing administrative things. You have an administrator. You have a capable administrator. Right? Tell the administrator to do administrative things, and you guys do policy things and tomorrow things. Time's your most precious resource. You don't have very much of it. Money, you guys know where that comes from. You're fortunate that you have electric utility. You're better off than most cities and towns. So you're a little better off there. People are your most difficult resource, according to my wife. I don't know why she thinks that about me. 42 years, I guess she's formed an opinion. But allocating resources to let your manager go out and attract and recruit and retain good quality talent is vital to how this organization's going to run. You have 3 duties, you have 3 resources, but you have 3 jobs. Your primary job is to set a direction for Blackwell. You're going to tell the staff that Blackwell's going to go over here, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do it in such and such time. By 2027, Blackwell's going to go here, we're going to accomplish this, and we're going to monitor results as we go. Think of that. There's 5 of you guys out of this whole town to get to vote, to allocate resources and tell staff that you're going to go here and accomplish this, with a lot of input from the community and a lot of support from all the interest groups. But if your agenda only has yesterday and today on it, you'll never do it. Zig Ziglar, before he died, made a lot of money by making observations like, if you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. I wish I was smart enough to think about stuff like that. What a nut, so I don't have his money. Of course, he's passed away now. So you're going to set a strategic direction for the community. You're going to, what was the other thing?
Monitor results.
Monitor results. And you're going to be like a 5-year-old in the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's how you're going to do your time, your resources, your money, your people, your care, your obedience, and your loyalty. Now, we take a test here, and David Weatherford, who is our main presenter, is going to take over. This stability test, you all have taken it before. It's been given hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Thousands of people have taken it. We believe in it. We do that because it sets a baseline for you all. There's an old saying, Mayor, you and I are old enough to remember, what gets measured gets done. What gets measured with feedback gets improved. That's why we take the stability test. What gets measured and rewarded gets repeated, and that's why we'll write you a check for letting us come and visit with you today. David Weatherford graduated from Oklahoma State University, went on to the University of Tulsa Law School, became city attorney in 1988. He's been the city attorney for Coweta for 30 years, retired from there. He's currently the city attorney for Mounds, Manford, Arcoma, and Sand Springs. David, it's your turn.
Good, thanks for having us. I'm going to take a test real quick. Bill does the fun part and lets me give a test. So, the stability test is something that was created by a number of officials in the Tulsa area primarily. And the idea was to ask the question, how do we measure how a city's doing? I'm going to go through and explain every question, so before you start writing down answers and scores, let me explain them. But it was really that simple. We think that everything we do in a city can be characterized by one of these 10 categories, and they are the most important categories. You'll notice there's not one for how well we fill potholes, because there are more important things we should talk about. And we've given this test to thousands of people around the state. We have lots of averages of how cities are doing, and we're convinced the problems are the same, the issues are the same. So let's go through it real quick. There's a reason financial stability is the first question. How are you doing financially? Cities should know that. We gave this test once in the city and asked this question and had a council member raise his hand and he said, I have no idea. I've only been on council 15 years and I've never once seen a financial report. That goes on in Oklahoma, and it's a sad state that we have that. The high score means you have a reserve policy and you fully fund it. As Bill mentioned, you're the board of directors for a corporation. You should want your municipal corporation to be financially stable. And you should do that by setting a policy of how much you want in reserve, and you should try to fund that. So a 10 would be a 20% or more reserve policy, and you fully fund it. A 1 would be we're lucky to make payroll and we're concerned about it. We've been to cities in which they raise their hand and say, can we give below a 1 on financial stability because we didn't know if we could make payroll last week. And that goes on in Oklahoma. Bill gets those calls at OMAG. And cities that are that way are not very stable, and that's why it's called a stability test. We're trying to measure how we're doing. You'll notice we don't take the test. This is for you. It is not to judge. It is to evaluate. And so we encourage you to use it as a tool to see how you're doing so you can get better, because we're convinced we can get better. Question number 2 is how stable is the governing body? That doesn't mean we never have turnover, because we always have turnover. That's the nature of it. A high score is you have good, qualified, well-intended members who are honored to serve on this body, and if you have elections, you have good candidates who want to be a part of it. That should be our goal, that it's with some distinction and prestige that you serve here. And if we can get to the point that we have a group that is confident in that, you will attract good people to serve with you. A low score is where you look around and say, I wish we could throw them all out and start over. And we've been in those cities. We gave this test in a city in which the board members wouldn't sit at the same table with each other. They sat in the back corners of the room, and their score was a 1, because they really believed every other member should be thrown out but them. So give yourself a score on how stable is the governing body, because our government will work better if the governing body is stable over time. Part 3, how do you rate your meetings? You should look forward to your meetings, you should enjoy them, and your staff should too. One of the worst things that we see in cities, and Bill and I have both been there, in meetings where staff is criticized publicly, are told they're incompetent, any number of things. And doing that will cause you to lose staff and have a lot of turnover when we talk about employees. But your meetings should be a good experience for you, for the public, and for your employees. And that should be our goal. Because if you think about your role as a board of directors, that's when you're performing your duties. So what can we do to make it a better meeting? Should be a topic that you explore and work toward. Low score is the meetings that are miserable, lots of arguing, no one enjoys it, you wish you never went to another one. I've told Bill the story, he's heard this before, about the first 900 city council meetings were kind of like that. And it's no way to live, it's no way to do our job, is it, Bryce? No. We hate those. You've been through those, I've been through those. We've got to change that culture in places that still live that way, and some do. So have a goal of having good meetings. Part 4, how do you rate your workforce? It is important for this to be a good place to work for everyone who works here, and that should be one of your goals. So a high score is a city that has very little turnover, and most importantly, your employees are proud to work for your city. If you can achieve that, you will get good work from them. They are your greatest ambassadors. In Sand Springs, we've had a number of employees who have been with the city more than 40 years because they enjoy working there. It's not about the money, it's about enjoying where they work and being proud of the place where they work. And you need to put some work and some effort into making this a place that the employees like working. A low score is those cities that have constant turnover, constant claims, and that happens in some places. We know that cities that score low on this portion will have more claims. And we know that cities that score low on the test overall will get sued more often. And that's why OMAG has some interest in doing this. Part 5, what's the public think of your city? And you can't judge that by what you read on Facebook. But what's the image of your city? A high score is a city that is seen as an institution that's a leader in the region, that if there's something that needs to be done, they think they can come here and get some help with it, and that you're an important factor in what the community is like. A low score is a city where there's no public confidence in the government, and there's constant criticism of everything you do. This is the hardest one to work on, but important. Part 6, how do we deal with a crisis? Government exists to deal with things that go wrong, whether it's a tornado or a flood or a crisis that comes up. So how prepared are you to deal with that? A high score is we know what our role is, we know what we're supposed to do, we've prepared for it. A low score is I have no idea what we do if there's a crisis, we haven't put any thought into it. Again, the 10 categories we should measure and how we're doing in city government. Part 7 is interesting, economic development. It's different as we go around the state. High traffic areas and urban centers always have a higher score. Extremely rural and especially far western Oklahoma has lower scores. There's some cities who have decided to opt out of the economic development role. They leave it entirely to someone else. There are others who are very aggressive in it. So a high score is you've decided you're going to have an active role in economic development projects and you think you can make a difference. A low score is you've decided not to be involved in economic development. And you get to decide that. You are the board of directors and you get to decide that direction. and there's a lot of variety. Part 8, how well do we do in planning and goal setting? High score is we all work well as a team, we all work toward defined goals, and we know what we're trying to accomplish. As a group, we know where we're going. The low score, we get by day to day, we don't worry about the long range problems. Okay, so give yourself a score again, 1 to 10 on each. And number 9, it's not an indictment or a question about the specific city manager, it's the upper management of the city. Has it been stable? And that's a question we should try to measure. Has management been stable for a long time? Do we work well together? Do we set goals? If we have turnover, do we attract good candidates? Because we want it to be a stable management, because it's in the long-term interest of our organization. A low score is those cities who have constant turnover. The administrative leadership is constantly changing whether it needs to or not. There are some cities who seem to think every 6 months they need to change directions. Okay, so how do you evaluate that, the upper management of the city? And number 10, we see a lot of problems by communication. A high score is I feel like I'm getting the information I need to make decisions, and we communicate well. Low score is I wish somebody would tell me what's going on around this place. And we see the communication problems cause other problems. So those are the scores. We will compile those. We'll get you a composite score back to Janet so that you can see how you evaluated. Again, not for the purpose of judging. And we'll give you a handout of some comments or suggestions from officials around the state of how you get better, because that's our goal. We think we can get better. And one thing we've learned from going to almost 200 cities and doing this is that cities do a very poor job of helping each other. You're fortunate you have an attorney who deals with lots of cities. He sees what goes on in other places. He brings good ideas from other places to you. But there are a lot of remote places that don't get many ideas from what's going on elsewhere. We know that great work is being done in Oklahoma. It's just not shared very well. Scores that show how you compare. It'll show public image is always lowest, crisis management is usually highest. And if you look at the average scores, isn't it amazing? We see a city between 10 and 20,000 that scored a 12. That would seem like it would be hard to do if you were trying. A city over 20,000 that happens to be a county seat that scored a 51. That was the 4th time we'd been there. They have more claims than any other city in Oklahoma, and they're still failing, and they choose to. They score low in most categories because they choose to score low in most categories. Their meetings are not very good because they choose to not make them better. And I am convinced all of these are within your control. You'll notice we don't take the test, you do. We're not here to offer any judgment of any type. We only ask that you evaluate yourselves and ask, how do we get better? Because some do better. We know that when we started this test, there would be some cities in Oklahoma that would score very, very high. And now that they've taken it, it's confirmed what we knew. There are some cities who have been extremely stable for a long period of time because they figured it out. They don't share it very well, but they figured it out. And we're convinced you can get to the point that you function at a very high level and become a very stable organization and maintain that for a long period of time with good practices. So I would encourage you to evaluate and think about all those 10 categories and how we get better. One last thing, and I'll close on this, is we have learned one thing from going to almost 200 cities, and think about this. There's one factor that has nothing to do with your outcome, and that's population. How good you are as a mayor or a council member has absolutely nothing to do with how many people happen to live around you. It has nothing to do with it. We've seen great city leadership in the smallest of places and horrible in the biggest of places. Population has nothing to do with it. Your city can be great at what it does, no matter where it is, with the right leadership, the right direction, the right goal setting, the right planning, and a long-term commitment to doing this right over a long period of time. There are no quick fixes. So with that, I think Bill has the other handout maybe, or Aubrey does. We'll give you those. Any questions on any of the categories? If not, we will make sure Bill sends you a check for listening to us. So appreciate you having us. We'll collect your score sheets and get a composite back to you. And thanks for having us. Hopefully, things are going well and we'll keep getting better. That's the goal.
And we did actually pass a governing body handbook.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we were anticipating that you all were coming, so.
Good. Think of the handbook as kind of what you're doing for the next generation, and it really, when we started this program 10 years or so ago, I think there were 2 cities in Oklahoma that had handbooks. We're now up to about 100. It really is your way to create a legacy for your great work. Because think about how unfair it is for someone new to get elected and there's not a guide of what to do. There aren't a whole lot of books. You didn't know what you were getting yourself into. So the handbook should be, what do you want to pass on to those who are going to serve after you so they understand what the job is and so they perpetuate and continue this culture that you're creating so that it will sustain itself over a long period of time. And your handbook can help you do that. It really is a training document. I know I use it anytime we have someone newly is elected. We sit down and review it before they ever take office. We go through it in detail. This is what you've gotten yourself into. It's too late to change your mind. But everything you need to know in one book and make it better over time. So that's good. I think that's a great step in the right direction. And really, for the group of you, you're doing something for those who are going to serve in the future. So. Bryce, any questions? You always have hard questions.
No, I just always enjoy you guys. You guys are funny and insightful and spot on.
Well, it is hard work, isn't it? We know what you do is hard work, and sometimes we overlook that. And what your staff does is hard work. And I probably should have mentioned the worst part. We've taken lots of surveys of city employees. What's the worst part about their job? And it's the constant criticism. Public criticism of what they do. They get it every day from somebody, and they shouldn't get it from a group of you. So keep that in mind. Especially your billing clerk, every day gets criticized. Your code enforcement guy, every day gets criticized. Most of your law enforcement, every day they get criticized for doing their job. So it is tough in what you're doing. It really is. But as a group, we can make it better. And it really takes getting everybody on the same page and working toward common goals. And if you do that, you can accomplish great things. So thanks for having us. You can do this every year, and Bill will pay you every year because it's hard for us to get people to listen to us, isn't it?
It's easier if we pay them.
Easier if we pay them.
Mayor, you've been very generous with your time.
You did a great job.
City manager
And you
Janet.
did teleprompter.
Bryce, thanks. Good to see you. You know, Bryce is very patient. He's heard this like 18 times.
Yeah, but it's different every time, and it's so excellent. It reminds us of our duty. It reminds me of my work. It's really good.
Thank you.
We should do it every year. I mean, that's what we should do every year.
Chance, good to see you.
See you.
Thanks.
Sorry we didn't get to be together at City Managers Conference this year. It was all virtual. This stupid plague. I'll be glad when it's over. Thank you, guys. Good night. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.